My name is Jason J. Rock Houston. This is Caterpillar TV, and we're talking with some of the members of the band Seven Stones. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
What's up? My name's Drew Elliott.
I'm Isaiah McDaniel.
Rich Aycott.
Okay. And then Drew, you're the lead singer, so we'll start with you. The new album is called Hurt Turns into Hate. I love the title. It's kind of a metal sounding title. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, it kind of stemmed from a song, which it's like
Title track, yeah.
Title track, of course. And I guess that's mainly what it's about. It's mainly like relationships that have gone wrong, gone awry. And, you hit that turning point. I think a lot of us have been there, if not all of us have been there.
Sure.
Whenever, like, you're done being hurt by it and, like, do something else. And it's just like, you know what?
It wasn't about any specific breakup, but just kind of what people generally go through.
In general, any relationship. I mean, the specific one I wrote about was about a buddy of mine that was going through a breakup, and it was not pretty. But yeah, but for the most part, I mean, it's any relationship.
That's interesting. It's one thing to write a song about something that you personally went through, as opposed to reading an article about something and kind of get an idea from that. But in any event, it's a great song. It kind of became the title track and everything else that followed. So what are you guys' plans as far as touring behind the new album?
Do you want to take this one, Isaiah?
Yeah, we actually to support locally, we got today we actually got an opening spot on a show with a pretty big band, and then from there, middle of May, we're gonna head out with Texas Hippie Coalition.
Oh wow!
And do basically Midwest to East Coast all the way up and down.
Yeah,
and from there, we're just gonna keep going.
Yeah, we're gonna see how these first things go, and then hopefully we can pick up some momentum from there.
And, your publicist sent me like a download of the new album, so I was checking that out last night, prepping for the interview today. And to my ears, the thing I kind of really dig about your sound is it's hard to kind of pigeonhole what you guys are. I'd say you're kind of a cross between modern alternative rock, and definitely got a metal edge to what you do. Never be mistaken for a pop band, but I think anybody that's into like metal or alternative rock they'll dig what you guys are about.
We hope so. That's the plan. We don't like to like pinpoint like what we actually are. We like to keep it diverse.
Again, I don't know if I'd even go as far to say you guys are a metal band, but to my ears, you got a little bit of an edge to what you do. Again, it's a little closer to my ears to maybe a metal sound than maybe a pop sound.
Oh yeah. We love it either way, man.
Hey, pop is popular now. You guys are from Tennessee. What's the music scene like there?
Well, to be specific, Chattanooga, Tennessee. It's a wide range, actually. I think we get a lot of runoff from Nashville. There's some like country, a lot of tribute artists come in, and then we have like an underground like metal scene that's actually pretty potent, which we don't fit in on either one of those spectrums fully at all, especially the countryside.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And Americana, sorry, as Rich mentioned.
Tennessee, Nashville, to get more specific, is becoming like it was once known for like country music specifically, but it's a place where like even a lot of the 80s rock guys, have moved. A lot of those guys are writing music. They're doing other things there. I understand it's so much to the point that they call it Music City. So interesting that Tennessee is a place everybody's going.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I'd ever want to live in Nashville, but because it's packed, man.
Good place to visit, though, huh?
Oh yeah, good place to visit, cool place to play a show, but I don't know about living there. That's for sure.
And like I said, it's changing a little bit, but like I don't know if you've done much time in Nashville. I was just kind of curious though, like if you've ever done a show there, do you feel like you're kind of winning the country people over, with your music, or?
Well, Seven Stones as a whole has not played in Nashville. Wait, has your band played in Nashville? Okay, well,
I played in Nashville with old
bands,
heavy bands. Like Nashville, they're known for country, but they do have different like sects of their music scenes. So they've got their certain blocks dedicated to like really hardcore, really like deathcore metal.
Yeah.
Have Broadway where all the country and then just the pop acts are. So
Where all the touristy things
Yeah.
are.
it's pretty competitive in Nashville. You gotta run with the big dogs when you play up there, though.
And so I'd like to ask the guitar players because I noticed like on the credits it says lead and rhythm guitar. So how do you guys go about picking who plays a lead rhythm guitar on a given song? Does it kind of have to do with who can play the better lead or who wrote the song?
Well, it's not really about like who can play better because
No, but you know what I mean? Because most time you look on it, it'll say like lead guitar, rhythm guitar. Like
Yeah.
notice, like next to both your
Really-
guys on the press
really
release,
it's just a
it
matter of
says
like
lead and rhythm. Yeah.
who
The
He'll-
can
master.
steal that
Yeah.
part better
Yeah.
and who isn't singing at the time. So like when he's singing and there's a lead part to be played, I play that. And then if he's just like really feeling playing a lead part when there's just like
It's rare.
a
That's
bridge,
very rare.
a bridge section.
Yeah, and you guys actually got three guitar players because I understand Drew's a guitar player as well now. Is that mainly just for writing purpose, or do you play guitar when you're up on stage too, Drew?
But for writing purposes,
When necessary.
full on,
Yeah.
and when necessary, I play guitar. With the change of having him on guitar, so I don't have to play as much, which is really nice. But some songs, it's good to have two guitars on that I try not to screw up the song too much on.
And is that a little more freeing having the other two guys where you don't have to worry so much about playing the rhythm part?
It is. I mean, at first I thought it was really odd because I was so used because that's how I started.
Security, right?
You know, writing and singing was playing with the guitar, and it threw me off for a while, and then now I do feel a little bit more free being able to put the
And
guitar
here's
in.
a crazy
Sorry
question for
about
you,
one
Drew.
thing.
I was curious. Did you start out like a lot of people as a guitarist first, and then kind of morph into becoming a singer? Or were you always a singer?
I played guitar first, and then I kind of came along, starting out on acoustic, and I was like, man, I really like this song. Oh, okay, I don't sing that
Now,
bad.
as far as you becoming a singer, did it have to be just the fact you were writing the songs and you thought, hey, these are my songs. I really can't envision anybody else singing these songs, or did other people start to tell you, Drew, you have a pretty good voice?
That was kind of how that went because originally I always thought I was going to be a rhythm guitar player that just maybe did backing vocals.
Uh-huh.
And then whenever everything started, it was like, no, man, like you can sing those perfectly fine. You wrote them, like sing them. Don't be a jackass. It's like, well, okay, I guess I'll try this. I think.
Yeah, because a lot of people, they have a thing where because a song is so personal when you write it that if you do have the ability to sing it, you kind of hear in your head how you think the song should sound. Whereas if you give it to somebody else to do the lead vocal, for example, you might be a little more critical of how they do it.
There is a touch of that, especially with a few songs, for sure.
It goes with everything musically.
Yeah. You don't want anybody else kind of touching a certain thing, especially if it means a lot to you. Or if you wrote it in general, it's like, you want it to be performed that like how you hear it in your head and how you wrote it to begin with. So it's hard to pass it along.
How did you guys all first come together? I mean, did you play on the music scene together, or did you know each other from that?
Basically now with the lineup that we have now, that's how we met Isaiah. He playing in Heartstrings, and it's kind of how we met Kenny through, our old drummer, and he also plays in this band, a band called To This Day, and he's So we kind of formed through the music scene. We kind of forced Rich to play bass when we first started, so that was he was
Seeing a lot of lineup changes. Not gonna lie.
We've been here for a minute.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, one of the songs I really dig on the new album is "Take Me Home." I mean, I just love the melody that runs through that.
It's actually an old song. We've had it for a while, and we finally got to put it on, or this album / EP, and we've had it for so long, so it seems really weird that some people are just now hearing it.
I've always been under the thought process of even if a song is 20 years old and you're just kind of getting around to recording it, if it's a good song, it's a good song. It shouldn't matter when it was written.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. It's just been a minute now that we're actually getting to promote our album and everything. And it's really nice for it to be a part of something.
It's a case, and then when it comes out sounding that good to me, it's a case of when you wait for something, it's really worth the wait.
Yeah. Well, we hope so.
And then the title track, what I loved about that, talking about the bass, I got to tell you, I love the bass groove all through that song.
That is his one response.
I mean,
For those of you listening in high definition, you're welcome.
and so let's talk about you said they kind of asked you to do the bass. So are you not originally a bass player, or?
No, I'm actually not. I never played a stringed instrument before in my life before November of 2016.
So
I got to
were
take
you doing before?
drums, but I knew rhythm, and they were doing a practice one day, the old guitarist and the old drummer and Drew here, and the old drummer was having a problem with like a tempo or a lick with one of our older songs, and I kind of was like piped in. I was like, well, instead of doing da 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 da, try da 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 da. And then they were like, oh, you know rhythm. We need a bass player. I was like, I've never, played a stringed instrument before in my life. And that's okay. We'll show you. And then that just turned into me.
Yeah, this may seem like a silly question, but do you think the fact that you are a drummer and know a little something about the rhythm section of the band, you think that comes to play at all?
As long as I have a thunder buddy like Kenny here. I mean, as long as I've got somebody in the pocket there with me, and I can follow along, and he can follow along with me.
And that's another good question. So now that you're previously a drummer, are you always watching what the drummer here is doing and kind of giving him tips?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. So there's 3 drummers in the band,
and I'm not one of them.
And we just let the one that's actually sitting behind the drum set do their thing and have fun with it.
Tell me if this is your guys' experience. I've always thought, like, when you have guys in a band that play more than one instrument, it makes you a better, more rounded musician because you have a better understanding of what the other guys are doing.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. That is true.
1,000%.
I can't speak on that because I can barely play the guitar. So,
Drew, tell me, like, how does the writing usually start? Do you guys like get together in the same room, like start strumming the guitar, or what?
It's happened like multiple different ways. A lot of our earlier stuff I had written way before I even thought we were going to like be in a band. And, the guys picked up on it, like, hey, these are good, man. We should do this. And then there's been times where we'll just be dicking around, rehearsal. And do we really like that riff? And then it's like diary of the mouth of having lyrics and things form. And
I know for a fact 3 of the songs on this album that is releasing is they were written just on the fly at a practice. We just needed to get in the zone. So we just start playing random things, and then it just all flows together. And then within like 30 minutes to an hour, you've got a full structure to a song, and we're like, we have to take you to the studio.
And when you guys get together to record, I was curious, because of COVID and everything. I know that's over, thank God. But do you when you get together and record, or even just to do a writing session, you necessarily have to be in the same room? Like, do you do anything like over Zoom like this, or do you always get together? Kind of in person.
We try to get in person.
Yeah, always in person. That's when all the emotions come together and everyone gets their imprint on the song,
and we feel it.
It's funny you say that, because again, prepping for the interview today, I was listening to the new album last night, and this is what I wrote down after I listened to it the first time. Album is loaded with raw energy and emotion.
There's definitely emotion in there, and a hint of energy.
See, that's the
sarcasm for the people listening.
It runs all through this music, and that's the thing I got to compliment you guys on, because the thing is, like, right now, even you all doing the interview together, it shows me there's great great chemistry within the band. You guys are tight, and I can honestly, I think the best thing I can say about you guys is when I listen to the album is that typically when you're listening to some first time, you're trying to think, who does this band remind me of? And I can honestly say, I couldn't really, outside saying they sound a little metal or whatever, I definitely have your own sound. I can't say that, maybe it was a little influence, like maybe Foo Fighters or something, but it's a little heavier, but you definitely got your own sound. And that's a hard thing to achieve. So is that something you guys set out to do, or did it just kind of come out that way?
In a way, yes, but in a way, no. Like we just started playing, and like
This is
especially
yeah.
a lot of it turned from previous things. Whenever Isaiah joined, we started picking up. He had because influencers are different, and we had the same guitar player for what 5 years,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he had different influences. And whenever he started playing, I was like, okay, yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, we can get with that, and especially if you can write to something that's different and new, like let's go for it. And
And as far as playing live, like when you bring in a new member, like are you kind of allow him to do his thing, like put the spin on the older tunes, or is it?
yeah.
oh yeah,
Everybody's got to have their sauce. Like if you have a new member in a band and they're gonna be touring with you and playing shows and stuff, they're not gonna feel it and they're not gonna put their all into it if they can't put their own sauce on it.
Yeah.
So we're definitely of the belief
Yeah.
that
And
you just
again,
gotta let
another
them
thing I always love to ask people is I know one of the hardest things when you're in a band is to come up with a band name. And I gotta say, I love the band name, not even really knowing what the story is, but it's like that is so original. Definitely, I'm sure when you guys came up with it, I don't think anybody else has named this.
God, the freaking name, man.
Yeah,
Well, I'm glad you enjoy the name.
yeah. Well, again, like I
The
said,
story behind it.
yeah,
The
it's one
story
of those things.
behind
You're
it.
like 7 stone. What is that? And
Well, we like to say that's like some lore from like Lord of the Rings
there you go.
to not seem as goofy as it is. But our original guitar player, we were all trying to think of names, and he said he had a dream and he
Yeah.
kept hearing Seven Stones over and over again. And he presented it to the band like the next day. And I remember not exactly liking it. It took me a minute to like, I don't know if I like
Yeah,
this or not.
and no offense, Drew, but I gotta tell you, it's funny you brought up Lord of the Rings because
Oh.
as you did, I was just thinking you look like one of those guys on the poster for the movie.
I'll take Aragorn. I've got Narsil
He's not-
tattooed on the inside of my
Came
arm.
from that time, yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's definitely the Elven.
So
Elrond.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
Lord Elrond.
I'll take Elrond.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So let's go around the room. Who are some of you guys each influenced by, like the guitar players, I guess, like who are some of your favorite guitar players? Drew, if you want to tell us, like, who are some of your favorite singers that inspired you?
As far as like my guitar influence, before this band, it was Shane Blay from an underground band called Oh Sleeper.
Okay.
And it was my first concert ever. I watched him and I immediately fell in love with the tunes he was writing and like all that stuff. But here recently, like writing for Seven Stones, I've very much taken influence from Westmoreland from Limp Bizkit.
Oh wow,
And
wow.
it's the bouncier tracks on the album definitely showcase that.
That guy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
vocally for me, huge Lane Staley fan. Miles Kennedy,
There you
Scott
go.
Weiland,
I can hear that. Yeah.
Sean Morgan. I'm a big fan of Seether too. I'll stick to those three and let these other guys answer.
Okay. Yeah.
I would say bass wise, number one, probably Jason Newsted.
There you go. Yeah.
Jason Newsted.
I hear the man's making a comeback, so be on the
Yeah, he
lookout.
is. He
Yeah.
really is, and I'm here for it. All of it.
Yeah.
As far as drums go, it's on a whole nother spectrum than it's
Okay.
music, but I'm a huge Rev fan from Avenged Sevenfold,
Okay.
Matt Clouser from Wage War, Chris Sadler, Lamb of God.
Yes. Oh yeah, Randall Blythe.
Betray You. Like I have a huge metal influence in my drumming
Yeah.
history.
Hey Drew, how can you forget? You're wearing the shirt.
I know. Like I went Lamb of God shirt. Like yeah. Sorry, Randy, if you ever hear this.
Yeah, I
I'm
gotta
a
tell
huge
you.
fan. I've got a tattoo of Lamb of God on the back of my calf,
Yeah.
and I forgot about Randy.
At one point, almost every metal fan was a Lamb of God fan, even if they weren't really into the music. I mean, when you heard about Randy Blythe's, plight, getting stuck in another country, held in prison, and
Oh yeah.
Oh,
thank
man.
God he finally got the charges dropped and came home. But could you imagine?
Oh, I've read that book. I've read Darkest Days. Just like me, Randy. Like me a lot, please. I
It
like
really is the most metal story.
it really is.
Yeah.
It
I
was,
mean, talk about going to going to jail for being a metal warrior and all that. I mean, now you really have stuff to write about.
yeah.
Yeah.
God.
So that's amazing. And a couple of the guys you mentioned, like Lane Staley, just amazing singer, died tragically young, but it's amazing. Alice in Chains has been able to carry on with a new singer. I mean, he sounds a little like Lane, but I think mostly Jerry is the mastermind of Alice in Chains, and
Oh, he very much is, and I know he was like the main writer for everything, but William Duvall has definitely filled in beautifully.
I think what they're missing with Lane Staley, even vocally, Jerry's voice with the new singers, William's voice, they just go so well together.
Oh, that sounds so good. I've seen him live, and
Yeah.
he's so awesome. He does make it feel like it's still his own, but he's still doing Lane.
Yeah,
very
he's not,
much
and
justice.
then even on the classic stuff, he's not trying to be Lane Staley, he's just doing his thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's still so close, and it sounds so damn good.
yeah.
I still enjoy listening to Alice in Chains.
I
Oh,
prefer.
sure. And as far as for a new bass player, I got to ask, since you just started playing the bass not that long ago, do you have a new appreciation for guys that have been doing it, a long time?
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%, because the whole mentality from the general public is, oh, bass player is just the guy that's there that just plays something on the other drum, but not really, man. Like that's the whole like groove and the whole thing that is bringing the percussion to the guitar section together.
And I would imagine too,
I take pride in that.
A different part for you now is when you're the drummer, you're sitting behind the drums, you're in the back of the stage, but other guys are typically in the front. Now you're part of the front line of the band, and you get to do a lot more moving around up there.
Yeah. I'm 34 years old, and I can feel it every day when I wake up. But
I mean, it really is a physical thing. I mean, yeah. You're getting your aggression out a different way. When you're doing the drums, you're beating the drums, but
Yeah, he's got a fan back there. He's fine. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Sam won't let me have a fan. He's not. I don't let him have a fan on stage because the sweat brings out the emotion.
yeah.
I love how Kenny listens to Isaiah. That's what baffles me. He's like, nah, man, you're good. Don't worry about it.
I'm the
Yeah.
youngest.
So you guys are signed to Pavement, right?
Yes.
And
we're under a
Yes,
marketing contract.
yes,
Yeah.
we're under contract with him.
Yeah.
And do you think eventually you'll get a deal? I mean, how did that partnership come up initially? Did they reach out to you, or did you send them a package?
We reached out to them after we were in Atlanta, and we saw not all of us were there, but Seether was playing a show, and the band Plush opened up.
Oh wow!
We were like, holy shit! I was like, these
These
like awesome.
ladies, yeah.
They're so good, and I think our manager, also my dad, ended up talking to one of the girls because they ended up sitting in the balcony, like close to him.
Mhm.
So he struck up a conversation and was like, "No, we're under Pavement Music," and he kind of looked it up and then got in touch with Tim King from Pavement, and so they just kind of started working out.
See, that's
Talking to
part
us
of
to see
what I
if it
love
was something we
about
were
that
interested in.
label. If you know anything about who Tim King is, he's the bass player from
Soil, yeah.
band Soil. And when you hear that, you're typically saying, okay, this is probably a guy that signs nothing but metal acts, but that's not the case. They got
No.
everything from like Candlebox, a 90s alternative band, Puddle of Mud. They got you guys. They've had rap acts. I love it. They got such a diversity of artists, first of all.
Same.
Yeah.
And I love that they're giving us a chance. So thank you, Pavement, very much.
And then that's the other thing I love is that they get behind the bands that they're working with and stuff, and they really push the product, as best they can. And it's not like most labels, like you said, you're not totally signed, but you're in a kind of a management partnership deal with them, and maybe something further will develop. We hope, but
that's the plan. We hope we're
even
working
to
toward that.
even to take it that far, and kind of help develop the band as opposed to saying, well, you know what, none of these songs have been charting, so I don't think we're going to work with you guys. They really seem to be one of the labels that really are getting behind the band and trying to help develop them.
And I think that helps, Tim King being in a band too.
That's what I
Like
was
he
gonna
knows,
say.
what it's like.
The big difference having a guy behind the label that's an actually musician. He's lived the life. He knows what it's like to do what you guys do, as opposed to
And still playing. Yeah.
the guy in a suit who knows nothing about, really being in a band or what that's like.
Yeah, we
We appreciate everything Tim does for us.
for sure.
And he
Yeah.
he really does go above and beyond, and he earns
For
his
sure.
paycheck.
In fact,
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys are aware of the band. Have you ever heard of the band Vinrez?
For them, honestly.
What was that? Sorry.
Have you ever heard of the band Vinrez? Venrez. Well, anyways, they're also signed to Pavement, and the lead singer from that band, when I interviewed him, he was telling me a story how his band had a tough couple of years because of COVID, and he was getting ready to break up the band. And one night, right before he's getting ready to go to bed, he checks his email, and without really having met or talked to anybody from Pavement, they offered him literally a record deal because his band was getting ready to break up, and he thought the whole thing was over through the email.
That's badass.
That's a modern way of doing it, and it's just amazing.
That's a great
Yeah.
story.
That's
Yeah.
a wonderful.
Yeah. Hey, Tim, we're about to break up, man. I don't know what's going on. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's. He told me they reached out to him or they heard about the band, and the band. Yeah, the band's been around, but yeah, look up Vinrez. It's Venrez.
I feel like I've heard of him. Yeah, I'll definitely have to look him up though.
The singer kind of looks like Howard Stern's twin brother, but gets jokes about that, and he goes by the name Vin. But they're definitely great at what they do, and I'm glad to see they're getting kind of a second life.
Same, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's something that you believe in and that you've busted your ass for, I would like to think if it got to that point, I'd like a second chance as well. Because we're
another guy on Pavement. I never heard of this guy. This guitar player Don. He calls his band Don Don on Pavement, and he was telling me he got chips enough from Enough's Enough. Heard some of his stuff, and he says, "Hey, I know somebody from Pavement. I'm going to pass your tape on to them," and he helped them hook up with Pavement. I mean, and this guy said, "Oh, I just started learning how to play the guitar 9 years ago." I love stories like that. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
That's
insane.
Yeah, and you listen to this stuff, and you'd swear that he's been playing for years, and you hear stuff like that. Well, there are guys who've been playing a lot longer, maybe consider themselves a lot more professional, and they can't even get a deal. So
yeah,
I love to hear stories like that.
Oh yeah. Giving somebody a chance, man.
Yeah. So what's next for you guys? Do you plan to put out any music videos to support the new album or?
Oh yeah. Holy crap. We've been sitting on this for a while. So
yeah.
We've had a bunch of stuff, and we've got one specific music video lined up to come out with the release on
next Friday, right?
Sorry, it's gonna be next week. Yeah.
By the time
Friday
this
the 21st.
airs,
It'll
have been released. The music video for No Safe Bet. That was one we filmed just I don't know, we only planned it for like a week or two because
the new album
was like, hey, you gotta support this
Friday, right? The 21st.
Yes.
And that's how we should kind of wrap this up. Let's talk about how people can get the album. Can they get it obviously digitally, but they want to get a physical CD, can they do that?
We're working on that.
Yeah, we haven't printed the copies yet, but it is coming, and it'll be available on our website at sevenstonesofficial.com.
Yeah.
So how have people responded who have heard the stuff so far? I mean, can people go on YouTube, or you got any of the songs up yet? Or
I think
No Safe Bet has released as a song.
Yeah,
the music video hasn't released. It released a couple weeks ago. But it's doing pretty well on Apple Music and Spotify, obviously.
I think people just the trick is getting more people to know about the band, because you guys definitely got the talent, and I think what really impressed me about this album was coming out Friday, or I should say EP, is typically I'm an old school guy, that's why I say that, but I listen to an EP and I'm thinking, I dig this stuff, but I really wish it was a full length. And I can say when I got done listening to this, I didn't have that feeling, because you didn't have just one great song. All the songs were I think you could release any of these songs as a single, people would dig it.
Well, thank you, man. That means the world,
that.
Man. Thank you a lot.
And I think the EP is so good that if people are just finding about Seven Stones right now, they hearing this for the first time, they'll say, you know what, I want to go and see what they did before.
Hey, don't have to exactly, but yeah, listen to EP. Listen to EP.
It's 2 years.
On that note, are there any past releases, or is this the first thing you guys have done as far as
we have a full length out called The Hope for Tomorrow, but if you go back and listen to that, it is a huge change from what we are now.
Yeah.
Which
And
is
you think-
which we still love that. I love every fucking song that's on there. It's just
Where's that?
it's
Or, you know,
different now.
you've got to have that progression. Obviously, every band wants that. I mean, the only band that can really get away with every album sounding the same as AC/DC. You know.
Oh yeah. Touche. And they're still freaking good.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. You know, even on the latest AC/DC album, which came out a couple of years ago. I don't know if you're aware of this. Malcolm Young, Angus's brother, doesn't even play a lick on the album, but he apparently wrote a lot of those riffs. So even though he's not on the album, you can feel
He's still
his
there.
influence. Yeah, he's still there in a way. Yeah, I just love that. So, well, I want to thank you guys for taking time to talk to us, Drew, and everybody else. And because I talked to Drew before, so hopefully, let's keep in touch. And when the music video comes out, I'd love to have you guys back. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right,
We'll
for
be
sure,
right
man.
here. Just hit us up.
Okay. Take care. Bye bye.
You
Thanks
too,
so
bud.
much.
Thank you.